Have a joy glorious day, folks, and welcome to the final summary of this 15-day trip to the beautiful Emerald Isle. My name, as you know, is Lawrence from Italy, and my aim is to show you many places around the world from my curious human perspective. If you want, help me grow this project, snap me a like and subscribe. So, where should I start? It has been 6 years since the channel started, and since that beginning I have grown a lot as a person, artist, creative, video maker and YouTuber, and after all this time I decided to come back here to see how my heart would feel about this amazing island that I'm so fond of. This trip was massive compared to the first time I went here, 15 days around Ireland, so let's proceed step by step. I've already shared much of the journey with you, and if you want to delve a little deeper you can go ahead and check out the playlist in the description. I want to divide this trip into 3 different parts, because each time I moved from one city to another it was as if I started a new journey with the new amazing people I met, a new city to explore, a new accommodation and so on. So let's start with the first one, Galway, a small town in the western part of Ireland, and I have to admit that this part was my favorite. This small town, it's beautiful, so picturesque, with music around every corner, amazing artists that I listened to even on the way home. One of my favorite was, for instance, Katie O'Connor. Go to find her on Spotify because she's amazing. But they were all great, talented and super nice people. From here I took 3 different buses, one to the Cliff of Moher, one to Connemara and one to the small island of Arran called Inisheer, that had included the amazing cruising under the cliffs of Moher. Returning, I really had no words for the beauty. Yeah. Of course, the cliffs are still one of my favorite places in the world, and I think you have to go and visit them once in a lifetime. So impressive and spectacular, I hope to go back in the future again. As for the Aran Islands, I think the best way to explore them is to visit the whole archipelago and stay there for a few days, because those few hours were really not enough. The next step was to move south, visiting the incredible city of Cork. I don't know why, maybe because I was used to traveling by now, but I felt it as a very welcoming city. I think you can walk for dozens of kilometers, spending fantastic times with friends. It's amazing. The Cork City Go was my favorite spot there. It was so interesting, and of course there was this esoteric shop that was amazing. I spent a lot of time there. From here I took 2 different buses, one to Dingle and one to the Ring of Kerry, that both stopped in Killarney, a very nice town actually. I recommend visiting the Ring of Kerry and maybe choosing the bus tour to Cobb. I chose Dingle over Cobb because there were many cliffs here, and I love cliffs, you know. The last part of the trip I did in Dublin. I didn't spend much time in the city, decided to return one day to shoot some dedicated videos, but I finally went to visit the famous Book of Kells, an illustrated manuscript and Celtic gospel book in Latin, containing the 4 Gospels of the New Testament, produced from the late 6th through the early 9th century in monasteries in Britain. From here I took 3 more bus tours, one to the Giant's Causeway, very crowded but really worth it, even for the last stop that took me to Belfast. I definitely need to go back to Belfast in future to visit the city better and understand a little more, especially about the social situation here, which is quite complicated. Of course, Giant's Causeway are out of mind, amazing, no way, worth it guys. Absolutely. Then I went to visit in half a day the little village of Howth outside Dublin, really nice. If you have a free half a day and you want to chill a bit, that's a great place. Then the last day trip to Kilkenny and Glendalough with our manager Pat, a really educated and nice, kind person. I learned many things from him. Of course the tour is worth it because both places are really interesting. I was especially thrilled with Glendalough, which has a really magical energy. I must say, I was very lucky. 15 days of sunshine in Ireland, only one rainy afternoon in Dublin in which I didn't shoot and went to see the Book of Kells. I really don't know what more I should want. This was probably one of the most beautiful trips, if not the most beautiful trip of my life. Not only because of the amazing place I visited, but because of the history Ireland has for this channel and my project. It was the starting point of everything here. The first time I took my GoPro and went out to explore, discover alone, lost in this amazing and beautiful world. And it was so amazing coming back to those places I revisited many and many times in my dreams. Guys, I have some kind of remembrance of this place. I was here, 2018. And of course, everything has changed. I'm obviously more experienced and I see the world totally differently. I can say I've become the greatest travel expert ever, but I've made great strides. I've grown up, I can speak English fluently, I've improved everything, and I'm happy because there are many changes and many ways to improve still ahead of me. So I'm thrilled. Ireland remains the same, that island full of nice, fun-loving people ready to bring some color, music and heart to the streets where the clouds race across the sky of the most amazing marathon. Ireland remains the same land of freedom I fell in love with many years ago, a land where my heart beats around every corner of the cities, on the top of every cliff, in the clearing of every fairy inhabited forest, and in the smile of people I first met along the way. Of course, this trip changed me a lot and made me understand even more about myself, on how free I feel in a place so far from home and so similar to who I am. I guess it's true what I read many times about Ireland and Irish people. As saying goes, I'm not Irish because I was born in Ireland, I'm Irish because Ireland was born in me. I can say with certainty that I'm not Irish or raised here, but I think Ireland was definitely born in me. The part of me that is free of constraint and ready to go, ready to explore more and more and discover my inner self, the part of me that loves the world and the beauty around me, because love, you know, is freedom, and this is the best place to be free. Oh, and before I go, I want to tell you that I read a really cool book about Ireland, about Grace O'Malley, the Pirate Queen of Ireland. I highly recommend it, it's amazing. See you next week, so guys, cheers!